Hello and greetings. So, as the dungeon crawler that I've been developing is beginning to take shape, at least from a gameplay perspective, I thought I'd share a roadmap of where I want the development to go and what I expect to release at the end, coupled with gameplay of what's been done so far. I suppose you could call this a belated game design document, or at least the closest thing to one that there'll be. So what you're watching right now is the gameplay as of the 21st of September 2024. As I've stated, it's a dungeon crawler in the same way of Etrian Odyssey or Labyrinth of Refrain or Galeria. However, the main inspiration is the 1995 title Mordor: The Depths of Dagenol. The game is called The Depths of Old Elysium, as a sort of reference. So in it, you control a party of 6 adventurers and just explore. There is a final boss of sorts, but the gameplay is mostly open-ended. I played the shareware version of it for several hundred hours, and the full version for several hundred more. So the feeling of mapping and taming the labyrinth before the age of the internet and game FAQs, the feeling of discovery, wondering what creatures lie below, pushed little old me way into the early hours of the morning. Of course, in the modern age, you can easily look up some maps online, and which makes I believe it was the Seer class, just completely obsolete, say for those with greater willpower than I. So I decided to create a dungeon using procedural random generation. However, most examples of proc gen outside of Minecraft and Terraria are pretty temporary in a roguelike setting. They're discarded as soon as the game ends, so they give this sort of episodic feeling to the game, where the runs are just completely separate. Yeah, you do have gimmicks like bones files in NetHack or the card in the wall in Slay the Spire, but they're mostly self-contained. Unlike, say, Mystery Dungeon or Warframe, there's no preset rooms here to arrange to make a floor, so the generation is done using a stochastic cellular automaton, or applying rules to a grid of cells with a bit of randomness sprinked in. So each room is generated in turn, where a cell's randomly selected, then the room is generated around it, and then it selects one free tile neighbouring the room until there's no free tiles left or the room reaches a given size. I think this is 10, but I'm not entirely sure. So any room with an area of less than 2 tiles is chucked out, and this runs until all the assigned space in a given chunk is taken, allowing for a practically infinite dungeon. However, in reality, we've limited each floor to 20 by 20 until I fully implement chunking, and then there's no... Well, there is a limit, but it's practically not reachable unless someone tries to pull a Kurt J. Mack on my game. So a different set of rules for the automaton equals a different sort of feel for each floor, such as a tight and oppressive forest, as what you're seeing here, or a great and daunting and open cavern, or a set of tunnels that have been dug out by mole people or whatever. Anyways, the RNG seed will be based on the player's name entered at the start, so this allows for replayability among different people. Say, hey, look at my seed. You just put this name as your name or whatever. This RNG will only be used for dungeon generation, so there's no way to just cheese the game in any way. So the main loop is very similar to other dungeon crawlers, really. You can set up loadouts in the staging area. You go into the dungeon, explore, you return to heal when you're low on resources, and then go again until the stairs to the next floor is found, and lather, rinse, repeat. So the stairs on every 5th floor is going to be guarded by a mini-boss. Proper bosses will probably happen every 20 or so floors. Like I said, these floors have been randomly generated, so they'll most likely be traversable within about a minute or so. You'll be able to change classes and loadouts with no penalty at all. I am going to implement a bonus where, similar to the armory bonus in Final Fantasy XIV, so basically if you have a character, like say, I don't know, is a paladin, a level 20 paladin, every other character is going to have an EXP boost when they're playing paladin to all the way up to level 20, and then they become the highest level class, and then so on and so forth. Speaking of battles, the battle system is more of a mishmash between Disgaea, Black Souls, and Final Fantasy XII. So the fights take place in real time as a sort of ATB-esque system, and any fight can be ran away from a la Chrono Cross. I'm probably going to implement a mechanic where you have to wait 10 seconds before running, so which allows the enemy to at least get one lick in. So under the bonnet, the battle system is centered around so-called effects, which are one thing that happens, and modifiers, which is more of a continuous buff or nerf. Buff or debuff, I should say. So this allows for a more modular approach to skill implementation, so you can implement esoteric mechanics pretty quickly for certain skills and equipment. So every enemy is an FOE, like in Etrian Odyssey. FOEs can move whilst you're in battle. I think they move every 5 or 10 seconds in the middle of battle, so it is possible to get ambushed by monsters. So the player does have to be careful. I am currently streaming all developments of this live on my YouTube channel, and I'm also streaming live on Twitch as well as a sort of multi-streaming setup. I usually start off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon British time. So unfortunately, as you can see in the opening cutscene and in this, there's a lot of copyrighted placeholder art for both the party, which can't be released if I want to release this unless you want cover to come from my kneecaps. As you can probably tell, my art skills aren't the best. In the opening cutscene, you saw a lot of stuff saying placeholder there. That means that the image in question has been generated via Stable Diffusion. Obviously, I'm not proud of it because, who would be proud of having crap art skills? But I do want to get them replaced, by actual drawn images. Obviously, to have any chance of getting accepted by Hollow Indie, you do need the game to actually look nice as well as play nice. So I'll need to take on an artist, maybe a couple, also skill icons, enemy sprites, cutscene backgrounds, player portraits, a lot of stuff, really. Music as well. I do have some tracks that got included in Humble Bundles and stuff that was released at the Game Developers Conference, but it's like any other pre-built assets. Its viability is a bit of a crapshoot. I would like to have some custom Holostars related music, a la Hollow Cure. Later on down the line, I will issue out a call for artists and musicians and scenario writers to actually help me develop the game once I have, a playable, play-testable version out, but I'm not bullish on the chances of it being out by the end of this year, so probably early 2025 is when I'll put the call out. So to wrap up, I'm developing a dungeon crawler. I'm not going to be simpering any talents from Hololive Production to save funds, and I'm hoping Hollow Indie picks me up, and if I am, then I'm going to make a full RPG of 3 acts. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day wherever you are, and I hope you see you soon. Ta-ra for now.